Radio Brockley, the UK's official #1 hospital radio station.
Hello and welcome to Brockley News, Radio Brockley's weekly show with news, interviews and information, including updates on all you need to know about what's happening in and around the hospital. I'm Alan Joyce, and coming up tonight we'll hear from one of the therapists from the Disability Foundation, who are one of the charities based here in the hospital, who provide complimentary therapies to patients, staff and visitors. We'll hear about their Therapy of the Month. Plus, we'll be hearing from OPUS, who are a voluntary users group working alongside the RNOH to provide a forum for all orthotic and prosthetic department users. Then at 7:30 tonight, your chance to win some super Radio Brockley goodies without leaving your bed on Bedside Bingo with David Rauch. And at 8 o'clock tonight, all your choice of tunes on the Sunday Request Show tonight with Daniel Edward. So stay tuned to London's longest running hospital radio station and currently the UK's official #1 hospital radio. It is Radio Brockley. Now, I'm joined by Andrew Osbourne from the Disability Foundation, who's coming to tell us a little bit more about what they do and some of the therapies that they offer. So welcome, Andrew.
Hi there.
Tell us a little bit firstly about what TDF does and what TDF stands for.
Okay, so TDF is the Disability Foundation, and they are a charity that offers a range of alternative complementary therapies.
What sort of therapies do they offer?
Okay, there's a wide range of therapies. So I'll start with myself. I provide acupuncture. And then we have things like reflexology, massage, physiotherapy, osteopathy, Reiki, Thai yoga, and others.
So a really wide range of therapies.
A wide range.
Then. Okay, excellent. And how did you personally get involved with the TDF?
I graduated last year, was looking for a job, and this came up via a website. I think it was called Indeed. And basically I applied, had 2 interviews, they liked what I had to say, and lo and behold, got the job, and I haven't looked back since. I love it, I really do.
It's quite rewarding.
It is.
Yeah, excellent. And where are TDF based?
Okay, so TDF based at the top end of the hospital near Orthotics. It's literally get to the end, turn left, and they are tucked up in a building on the left-hand side.
And we're going to talk in a bit more detail about some of the therapies that you specialise in. I mean, how did you get into doing these therapies in the first place? What training have you had?
Okay, so my previous life, I worked in an investment bank as a financial analyst.
Oh, wow, so completely different, yeah.
Completely different. I gave up my job to become a house husband. And in that time, I got into acupuncture through a massage therapist,
right.
Who told me about her massage therapist who did tween-arm massage, which is what I do now also. I went to see her for tween-arm massage. She gave me acupuncture and not massage, and then I fell in love with acupuncture.
So you thought, I want a bit of that, I can do that to help other people as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It made me feel calm, made me feel good, and I thought, this is actually quite rewarding, and I could see myself doing that, so... And that's how I got into it.
So let's talk a little bit about acupuncture then. So for anyone who's never had it, and myself included actually, explain exactly what it is.
Okay, so acupuncture is a form of medicine that originates in China and is 2,000 years old. And it's based on a system on acupuncture points, meridians, which are pathways. Ultimately, it is a vascular medicine, i.e. it's all about blood, keeping blood healthy, keeping blood moving, and keeping people free from sickness and free from pain.
So if someone comes to you with, let's say, a pain in their back or something like that, how do you then use that information to work out what acupuncture they need?
Okay, so basically, I would carry out a consultation, I would ask them a series of questions, and I would come up with a diagnosis. I would look at their tongue, see if there was any indications of what we call stagnation. Basically, if they presented with something that was quite red and quite dark, that would tell me that there was pain stuck somewhere within the body. If I did a pulse diagnosis, I could tell from a pulse if something was weak or something was in excess. And from that, I would be able to determine what kind of treatment I would have to give somebody.
Okay.
But it's a lot more complicated about that, but that's kind of an overview on it.
I was going to say, taking it back a stage, I mean, what sort of symptoms would people come to you with that would then make you think, okay, you would benefit from acupuncture?
Okay, so we have two phases. We have acute phase, which is newly presented, and we have chronic phase. Acute phase is anything between now and a month, and chronic is 6 months or more.
Right.
Acute is quite easy to fix. Chronic, not so. Probably requires a bit more treatment, bit more questioning. But everything is fixable if you approach it in the right way. You ask the right questions, and more importantly, you treat the right acupuncture points.
Okay. And acupuncture does involve needles, doesn't it, as well? Yeah.
It does, yes.
Now, I know a lot of people sort of misunderstand this part of it because a lot of people think, oh, needles, not really up for that.
No.
But it's not really like that, is it? I mean, explain a bit more how that works.
Okay, so the needles are quite thin. Well, they're very thin. They are probably 10 times, sometimes 15 times thinner than a hypodermic needle, which is what you'd get if someone was taking blood.
Right.
I've had instances where I've misplaced a needle, it's fell in my pocket, for 5 days it's been in my pocket, I've not noticed it entirely. When I've gone in and felt a bit of metal, I realised I've had this needle in my pocket, it's that thin.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can understand people having a phobia about needles, but most of the time you put them in and they don't even know. You might feel a slight insertion, but once they're in, and
Right.
it's fine.
Okay, wonderful. And, I mean, how long would these sessions normally take?
My sessions last 45 minutes. I mean, ideally, somebody comes in and their condition is such that I require an hour, then I will try to book them in for an hour next time. But by and large, I can pretty much fix somebody or alleviate pain within 45 minutes.
Okay. And why would you use something like acupuncture against something such as perhaps, say, reflexology? What would be the advantage of acupuncture?
I wouldn't say there's an advantage of acupuncture versus reflexology, because I don't know much about reflexology, but I'm sure not the principles are the same, but the benefits are the same. It's just a different way of looking at something.
Right.
But I would always say come to an acupuncturist first.
Yeah. And also, I mean, a lot of people listening to this obviously will be patients.
Yes.
So therefore, I mean, would you consult with their doctor first, or how would they get referred to you as a patient?
We get referrals through word of mouth, but ideally we like to get a doctor's consent before we treat, depending on the severity of the illness that they're presenting with. I mean, if it's something like cancer, we like to get doctor's consent first, but if someone came in with back pain and they maybe went to a doctor and the doctor prescribed them something, or maybe they saw somebody and they didn't get much access, then by all means the door is open for them to come to us for treatment. But not in all cases we look for a consent from the doctor.
Would you get people coming to you for acupuncture with things like stress as well as physical pain? Is it for everything?
It's for everything.
Okay.
We treat, I specialise in pain, but, I can also treat people who come in for stress. So, yeah, it's a wide range of issues.
Sure. Well, let's talk about the other therapies that you offer, which is massage, because I guess a lot of people, well, certainly myself anyway, but I think a lot of people think, well, I'm a bit stressed, I'll go for a massage, because that is the one that people are, I guess, most familiar with.
Yeah.
But massage itself comes in many, many different forms, doesn't it?
It
so
does
explain
indeed.
some of the different massages that you have.
Okay, so my speciality in terms of massage is tweener. Tweener.
Yeah, how describe that for us.
Okay, so it's a series of hand movements, and the principle is the same as that of acupuncture, to create homeostasis, to create balance, to treat excess or deficient conditions within the body. So we might look at the pulse, we might look at the tongue in the same way. but instead of using needles, we're using hands. So we're doing a lot of finger pressure, we're doing a lot of movement. We're basically trying to flush out toxins through the system and promote movement of blood and, I say, homeostasis.
And which parts of the body would you work on specifically for that?
Depending on where the pain is. So if someone comes in for shoulder pain, I'll treat the shoulders. Back pain, treat the back. But, there are also points on the leg that we would treat for back pain. There are also points on the distal part of the body, i.e. the feet, that we'd also treat for back pain and for neck pain. So there are many ways of treating something, and there are many points on the body to treat something. There's no sort of hard and fast rule, but...
Again, just thinking from a patient's point of view, if they perhaps had a sensitive back or something, so you could work on the hands or on the feet instead to treat?
We could. I also do a bit of auricular therapy as well, which is basically acupuncture through the ear, which basically works off the central nervous system.
Right.
And that works. I've had patients that have come in, real stiff neck, and don't touch me. I thought, okay, fine. So I do a lot of groundwork as well. I.e., put my hand. It's like a bit like Reiki. I put my hands on you. I put some warmth, and from that, the muscles relax, and there's a bit of give and there's a bit of trust, and then from that, I sort of dig in a bit deeper. Sort of chip away at the level. It's like peeling an onion. Layer by layer.
Right.
And you get to that. You get to the crux, and once you get to the crux, then you're able to then get in, fix a problem, or alleviate the symptoms of the problem. So.
And as you spend time with an individual person or patient or whatever, I mean, do you sometimes change your therapies as they go along if you think they're responding perhaps better to one treatment over another treatment?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, what I tend to do, I tend to get a client list and say, okay, what's the problem? And I tend to kind of formulate what I'm going to do, but it doesn't always translate that way. Things happen, and things change, and and I've always been sort of told or taught, don't go in with a predetermined form, because everybody's different. Everybody responds different to a treatment. So I might come in with a predetermined formula, but now we'll change it based on how they're presenting and their mood. And how they are to touch or how they are to needles. I've had people that are incredibly sensitive to needles. Okay, I'll take the needles out and then I'll do massage, and that works better. Or I do a combination of both, and then I might leave them with a bit of auricular therapy as well. So a couple of needles in the ear just to finish off the job. And that tends to work, but I tend to work 45 minutes hands-on all the time. So I'll give you needles, I'll give you massage, I'll give you ear. You might get some cupping as well. I don't know if you're familiar with the cupping.
No, tell us about that.
Well, you might have noticed when the last Olympics in Brazil, a lot of the swimmers had red marks, so like polka dot marks.
I did see that,
that's cupping.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, okay, I've learned something every day.
Yeah. and basically what cupping is a very good diagnostic tool of telling you the state of somebody's body.
Right.
And basically the redder the mark, or the bluer or the darker the hue, that basically informs the therapist that there's what we call blood stagnation. So, people that overuse, like swimmers, they overuse their arms, the front deltoids, and they get inflamed. So you put a cup on there, you basically bring up the blood to the surface, not physically, but through the skin you can see it. And that basically does, it just draws out the toxin from the blood. But with that, you then get the red mark, which sort of dissipates within a few days. But it's a very good diagnostic tool, but also a very good tool for fixing pain within the body, because a lot of pain is due to blood stagnation, where blood isn't moving and it's fixed in a particular area, and the cupping is a very good way of releasing that blood through toxins.
That's really fascinating. So you're watching the Olympics, diagnosing people as you're watching it.
People, yes, yeah. It's actually quite good. I mean, it's very good because it gave us a lot of media coverage.
Yeah.
You know, because people are saying, you know, what is this?
Yeah.
You know, you've had, you know, celebrities were having it. So I think Gwyneth Paltrow was the one that really set the stage on a light with the cupping. You know, she wore a dress, and at the back of her dress she had all these polka dot marks, and people were like, what is that? And then, you know, cupping then got, you know, some publicity. And
I was going to say, it's not necessarily a look that people will go for. I assume there'll be some people who wouldn't want to have that look.
No, I mean, I've cut people and they said, oh, you know, I'm going out, so please don't cut my back. You know, and I've had to respect that, so, you know, I give them a massage instead. But yeah, you know, horses for courses.
So you do a lot of sports treatment then as well at TDF, do you?
Not me particularly, but I do, or I can treat those conditions. You know, we do have people that treat, or rather are qualified in sports massage. But Twino is one of those massage that it's so versatile. You can treat sports, you can treat children, you can treat elderly. It's just, a lot of it's about common sense, you know, and just using your sense to gauge where somebody is in terms of physicality and treating accordingly.
So the point is, if anyone is sort of not really sure what treatment is right for them, at TDF you'll have someone who can advise which is the one to go for.
Absolutely.
So if they're worried about brittle bones or anything like that, then you can talk to them.
We can talk to them about that.
Sure. Okay, wonderful. So if anyone's been listening to this thinking, oh, I fancy a bit of that, and they want to get in contact with TDF, firstly, do you have to become a member to go to the Disability Foundation for treatment?
Yes, you have to become a member. The membership is £20, and it's to those who are disabled or those who are caring for disabled people.
Okay. And after that, you make a donation for your therapies.
Correct.
Is that right?
Yes. And the minimum suggested donation is £20 or so.
Okay. And is Disability Foundation open to all members of the public?
It is. So it's actually open to the able-bodied also, but I believe the fee is slightly higher.
Yeah, sure. Okay. And if people want to get more details, what contact details do you have for TDF?
Okay, so the telephone number, if anybody is interested in joining up as a member, is 0208 954 7373.
Excellent. So it's 0208 954 7373. And the website address?
It's www.tdf.org.uk.
Well, I do fantastic work. I can say that myself because I've been there for treatment as well. So
fantastic.
You do a brilliant job, all of you. So
thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Andrew, for coming down.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for having me.
Andrew there from the Disability Foundation, and we'll have more on Brockley News very, very shortly. Still to come this evening, we've got Bedside Bingo coming up in just over 10 minutes from now. Your chance to win some goodies, so good luck if you're playing along. David Rauch will be calling out the numbers. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, it is all your choice of tunes on the Sunday Request Show. And Daniel Edward is filling in tonight for Keith Reeve. So start thinking of your favourite tunes now and tell your patient rep when they come to visit you for bingo very shortly. Well, finally tonight we hear about a group called OPUS, who are a user group from the RNOH Stanmore Orthotic and Prosthetic Centre. Two of their members came to speak to our reporter and trustee and bingo caller, David Rauch.
OK, let's start by letting you introduce yourselves.
Hello, my name's Sandra Staffiero and I'm chairman of OPUS.
Hi, my name's Jane MacLaren. I'm the social and listening bodies coordinator of OPUS.
OK, so we're going to talk about OPUS. I suppose best place to start is, what is OPUS?
OPUS stands for Orthotic and Prosthetic Users Stanmore. It's a user group set up at the beginning of 2016, an initiative from Claire Tamsett, the manager of the unit here at Stanmore, to bring together the two departments and for networking between users for support, information, and to take the prosthetics and orthotics departments forward and to link up with other centres across the country.
Which other centres have you already got any contact with, if any?
We've made contact with Step Up, which is the user group at Luton and Dunstable Hospital. once a month at Nebworth, they're allowed to use the swimming pool. So Step Up have offered us free use as well to go along once a month and use their swimming facilities. And Roehampton are introducing us and inviting us along. They invited us to their Christmas party, and also they have several events, walking events and picnics throughout the year, which we are being invited to.
And the Colchester Collipog, the Colchester user group as well, and they've come along and helped us with a lot of the setup. All three groups have helped us with the setup and, given us ideas and assistance with doing that.
So what sort of assistance do you give the users of the group?
Well, at the moment we're setting up what's called a listening buddies, which will offer emotional support to anyone either who has had an amputation or is possibly in the hospital and maybe be going to have an amputation. At the moment we're doing DBS on anybody that would like to do it, and the hospital team, the volunteer team, are doing interviews and that and making sure everyone does that, and we're going to run a course for anyone who's doing that. So they would go along and chat. Initially we may do telephone support and then possibly later on offer face-to-face support in the hospital. So it's in its infancy, but we're getting there.
So how long have you been going?
We've just been doing it for the last couple of months, and we're doing all the procedures and putting that through the hospital and doing all that, so it's all done professionally, so that confidentiality and data protection and all that are done through the hospital. And
it's not to give clinical advice or medical advice, it's just a shoulder to lean on or a shoulder to cry on or just support. And it's also for friends and families as well that do feel lost. And
so did you start this yourself, or was it already around?
No, we've started it. This is something we're starting up ourselves, just us.
Because we found that there was a need for our listening buddy scheme. I'm very fortunate. I think Jane's fortunate as well. We've got a big family, a network of family and friends, but some people actually don't have anybody, and they've got no one to ask what may be a simple question, but has a major impact on their life. So we've seen it in operation at Colchester. They have a very successful listening buddy scheme, and so we took their initiative and thought we'd set one up here.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about the listening buddies.
What it's intended to do is it would be if a surgeon or somebody felt, or one of the clinicians at the hospital felt somebody would need somebody to speak to that maybe wasn't family or friends, but somebody who would have an understanding and meet someone who's actually been through an amputation and to talk it through, and they would get in touch with us and we would go along and speak to them. So we're looking for more volunteers. We've got quite a few people that are interested, but we have to do some sort of training with everyone so that everyone's on the same level and know exactly what you can and cannot say, and because there would be no advice, as Sandra says, there's no medical advice we can give, or we can get involved with any disputes within, with what they are receiving or anything like that. But just to listen and be
emotional,
emotional support.
Okay, so presumably you want volunteers who are within easy reach of the hospital.
Yes and no. Some people might be, because obviously you're not an amputee just for a short time. You are an amputee for life. So it could be that somebody who's maybe been an amputee for 10 years and now, through whatever's going on in their life, would like somebody to talk to. So no, it wouldn't matter where they live, because the hospital covers such a wide area that wherever people live, we would like them to volunteer.
You're not just looking to help people who are physically here in the hospital.
No.
Telephone support as well?
Yeah, we would. I mean, I think telephone support is going to be at the start the thing that we do first, because it's the easiest because of the wide area that the hospital covers. But it's hopefully it's and we've had a great response from the centre, and quite a few of the surgeons have shown interest as well, that they think it's a good idea. And also we've been in touch with the the psychologist and the
counsellor,
amputee
counsellor.
Yeah, and we're hoping to speak to them and get a better idea and work with them too. But everyone within the hospital's been brilliant and a great help in helping us set this up.
Okay, now I've seen posters around about this thing called the Big Meetup. Tell me about that.
This is something that's been going for 2 or 3 years before OPUS, but now OPUS have taken over it. We've got many amputee friends from around the country, not just through Stanmore. So we decided just to have a big meetup. Numbers have grown, and people come. We had our last one in October. I had friends come down from Birmingham. We just meet up at a local pub with friends and family, anybody that wants to come along. It's a way of networking, making new friends, discussing things, seeing that, actually there are other people in a worse position perhaps than you are, that there is life after amputation, and that it's just a way of getting together and chatting and supporting one another.
It's just a fun, informal event. There's no need to book, or you don't have to come for a meal. You don't have to come at a certain time. It starts at midday. You can pop in for an hour. Sometimes we're actually saying, come on, we have to go home. There was one we had, and I think it was 8 o'clock at night, and I was going, I need to go home now. It's social, and you don't normally meet people that have amputations, and to actually be able to meet people and chat, and you have a common interest, and it's a great event and open to everybody from every centre. And we have quite a few people who come every time and have become very close friends now.
And when is the next one?
On the 11th of March at 12 o'clock at the Battle Axes in Boreham Woods. So everyone welcome. Everybody welcome.
There is a link on our Facebook page and our website as well.
Okay, I was going to say, how can people find out more about OPUS?
I think the easiest way really is to look at our website, which is opus-rnoh.wix, which is wix.com/user group. You'll find links to our Facebook page and also our email address. Otherwise, at the centre, there's lots of cards and flyers around, also in orthotics, and we're hoping to have a board put up in outpatients as well. Otherwise, someone can just phone the prosthetics unit, and reception will pass the details on.
And also, if you go onto the website, there's a section that you can fill in, and it'll send us an email. You'll be put onto the email list, where we'll send you out details of anything we're doing, because we're actually thinking of doing a wheelchair chair dance as well.
Yes.
So anything that we're doing, we will send you out, information when we have a meet-up. When we have our meetings, we have regular meetings, and that'll all be sent out to you then. So it's a way of keeping in touch. Even if you're not interested right now, you may do in the future.
Okay, Sandra and Jane, thank you very much.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Sandra and Jane for coming in there to Radio Brockley and speaking to David Rauch, who you're going to be hearing in just a few moments' time on Bedside Bingo. And don't forget, if you want to listen again to that and any other previous interviews that we've done here on Radio Brockley, on Brockley News, you can go to our website at radiobrockley.org and follow the links to our YouTube site from there. And tomorrow night on Brockley News Extra at 8 o'clock, you'll get another chance to hear our extended interview with the RNOH chairman, Professor Tony Goldstone. That's tomorrow night at 8 o'clock here on Radio Brockley. Coming up next, then, it's Bedside Bingo with David Rauch, as you just heard. And then at 8 o'clock tonight, all your choice of tunes on the Sunday Request Show, tonight with Daniel Edward. From me, Alan Joyce, good night.